Hey, mathematicians. Here's a quick lesson and video about your page 76 and 77 in your student books. That's the big one. It says decimal color and order, page 1 of 2. So we have 2 pages for this assignment this week or today. In each box below, color in the grids to show the number. Then write the number the way you'd read it over the phone to someone. The first one is done for you. So the example they give is one whole. So this is one whole grid. So that's where the one comes from here, and the one comes from in the decimal. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 little squares are shaded in out of 100. So we could write 1 and 20 hundredths, or the way that they have it written is 1 and 2 tenths. So each of these strips is a tenth of a whole. So we have 1/10. Here, let me show you. We have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10. So we have 10/10 total, but only 2 of those tenths are shaded in. Let me undo. So that's why when we say the number, if you can say it, you can write it. So we have 1, and we always say and when we are dealing with a decimal. We don't say point, we say and. So 1 and 2/10. Okay? The place value of the 2 is what you're looking at. So let's look at A here real quick. So let me zoom in a little. So A is 1.02, right? But we don't say point, we say and. You always say and with the decimal. So we're going to shade in one whole again. Let's see. Do we have a markup? Yeah, let's try this. Nope. Okay, so I can just pull it, I guess, like that. So we have one hole. There we go. That's easy. So there's the one hole. And now we have 0/10, and then the next place value over is 2 hundredths. So there's 100 little squares. So 2 hundredths would be just 2 little squares. So we have 1, 2. And the way we say this is 1. Let me get my text here. So we're going to say 1 because there's one hole, and 2 hundredths. Whoops, hundredths. 1 and 2 hundredths. That's how we would write this number here. So it looks like one whole and then 2 little hundredths, and then we would write that as 1 and 2 hundredths. Okay, let me do one more and then I'll let you guys go ahead. So I'm going to do, so let's do C. I'm going to do C for my example. Then I want you to do B, D, and E. And then number 2 we'll look at. All right, so C is 0.12. So how are we going to look at that? So what we're doing here is we're looking at, there's no whole numbers, and then there's 12. If we thought about this as money, it would be 12 cents. 12 out of 100. So if each of these groups is out of 100, we're just going to shade in 12 of them. So I know that one row is 10, so I can just go ahead and shade in. Let's see if Mr. Mac can do that. So there's 10 hundredths. Here's 11, and here's 12. I'm just shading in 12 of those, okay? And the way that we say this number, or the way that we write it, is there's no whole number, so we don't even need to worry about saying that. So all we have to say is 12 hundredths. 12 hundredths. See the THS on the end. That means it's less than one whole. 12 hundredths. You don't need to say 0 and 12 hundredths for this, because that's just implied that there's 0. So we just say 12 hundredths. Okay, so after we after you finish the rest of these, B, D, and E, I want you to go ahead and start with number 2. List the numbers from the boxes above, including the examples on these lines. Write them in order from least to greatest. So I'll give you a hint. You're going to look at the numbers and you're going to go through each number and see which is the least to greatest. So like E is just 2 holes, right? So that's like $2. Think about it like money. $2. D, that's 21 hundredths or 21 cents. C is 12 cents or 12 hundredths. B is 1 and 12 hundredths or $1.12. A is $1.02 or 1 and 2 hundredths. And the example, I don't think we have to do, but maybe 1 and 2 tenths. Oh yeah, including the example, sorry. So 1 and 2 tenths or $1.20. So think of it like money, and that'll help you fill in number 2, okay? And then number 3 on the next page says, Jana says that 16 hundredths is greater than 4 tenths because 16 is greater than 4. Do you agree with her? Use words, numbers, or labeled sketches to explain your answer. So think about the place value, okay? So 16 hundredths, that's really like saying 16 cents. And 4 tenths is really saying it's 4 tenths, so that's 4 dimes, right? So that's just like saying 40 cents. All right. So is 16 hundredths or 16 cents greater than 40 cents? I don't know. You tell me. And then the challenge here is optional, but it says use the digits 2, 4, and 6 to create 6 different decimal numbers and write them in the boxes below. When you're finished, write the numbers in order from least to greatest. So you get to choose how you want to write it, but you have to use 2, 4, and 6. So I could do 2 and 46 hundredths. I could do 6 and 42 hundredths, that kind of stuff. So you just choose numbers like that, but only using 2, 4, and 6, and then you're going to write them from least to greatest down here. Okay, well, good luck, mathematicians, and we'll be working on this during class.